Hey guys, Mosa here, and today I'm bringing you my Sunday night football predictions of Week 11 between the Cincinnati Bengals and the Los Angeles Chargers. Now, without a further ado, let's get started. Now, kicking it off with the injury report of the LA Chargers, we got defensive back Dean Leonard with a hamstring injury who is questionable for the game. And then we move on to linebacker Joey Bosa with a hip injury, running back Gus Edwards with an ankle injury, cornerback Christian Fulton with a hamstring injury, linebacker Dijon Henley with an illness. Then we get linebacker Khalil Mack with a groin injury, and tackle Ray Pimpkins with an ankle injury, and tight end Stone Smart with an ankle injury. Now, out of all of those players, obviously everyone except for Dean Leonard will 100% play in this game. Now, I think Leonard will be a game time decision, but when it comes down to it, I in fact do believe he will be playing in this game, no doubt in my mind. And when it comes to the LA Chargers, I think their defensive woes are really the problem here, specifically on injuries, because they got more defensive players who have been injured. So, realistically, I'm thinking that their defense is going to be a little bit weak in this week's matchup between the Bengals. Now, moving on to the LA Chargers offense, starting with quarterback Justin Herbert, running back J.K. Dobbins, fullback Scott Matlock, wide receivers Ladd McConkey, Quentin Johnson, and Joshua Palmer. Tight end will be Will Dissly, left tackle Rashawn Slater, left guard Zion Johnson, center Bradley Bozeman, right guard Trey Pimpkins, and right tackle Goalt. Now, when it comes to the Chargers offensive line, I'm pretty good on that one. I think that they have a pretty good offensive line and that Justin Herbert will be protected. So I have no issues with this. And their run game will be pretty good with J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards in the backfield. But regardless of that, I actually believe that the Chargers won't even need to be using that kind of offense, because realistically, I think that they can actually throw the ball upfield for either Will Dissly, Joshua Palmer, and even Quentin Johnson and Ladd McConkey. I think that even though the running game will help, the pass game might be even better against the Bengals. Now, moving on to the Chargers defense, and we start out with defensive ends Morgan Fox and Puna Ford, nose tackle Otito Ogbonia, and weak side linebacker will be Tupipulotu. I don't know if that's how you say it, but okay. And just in case, if you don't know, Joey Bosa might come on the weak side as well. Then inside linebacker, we got Dijon Henley and Denzel Perryman, with strong side linebacker being Khalil Mack. But if Mack cannot go, then we got Bud Dupree just in case. With Cam Hart and Christian Fulton as corners, Elijah Molden at the nickelback position, and free safety Aloy Gilman and Derwin James at the strong safety position. Now, in my opinion, I do believe that this defense will have enough pressure to just basically make the Bengals offense just make a bunch of mistakes, specifically the pressure on Joe Burrow. Bring Mack and Bosa onto him. Those are the main two guys that should be on Joe Burrow all day long in the pass rush. Otherwise, linebacking core pretty decent, corners pretty decent, and then you got a very good safety in Derwin James in the back, and potentially sometimes on the blitz. I think that this is going to be a pretty good defense for the Chargers, but to be honest, it could go either ways because the Bengals aren't that bad of an offense. But realistically, I'm thinking that the Chargers will do a very good job against the Bengals on defense. Now, on to the injury report of the Cincinnati Bengals, starting out with wide receiver Charlie Jones, who is out with a groin injury. Linebacker Joey Bachie with a hip injury. He is doubtful for the game. Then we get on to tackle Orlando Brown with a knee and fibula injury. He is questionable alongside defensive end Trey Hendrickson, who has a neck injury. BJ Hill, defensive tackle with a knee injury. And defensive tackle Sheldon Rankins with an illness. Now, after that, we got Joe Burrow with a wrist and bicep injury. Guard Alex Cappa with an illness. Wide receiver T. Higgins with a quadricep injury, along with linebacker Logan Wilson, who also has a quadricep injury. Now, from Burrow all the way to Logan Wilson, they're all going to play. When it comes to Bacci, I think he will not play. I think he will be a game time decision, but he will indeed not play. The same goes for Orlando Brown, Trey Hendrickson, and Sheldon Rankins. Only BJ Hill is what I'm expecting will be indeed playing in this game. Now, this is going to be a heavily defensive problem for the Cincinnati Bengals due to the fact that they would lose two of their best defensive linemen due to injury. They've already lost, and potentially a linebacker. They've already lost a receiver, and Orlando Brown might also be lost for the game. So, realistically, this team ain't doing good in injuries, and honestly, it might actually hinder them a chance from winning against the Chargers. But for right now, I'm thinking that the defense will suffer the most due to injuries. Now, moving on to the offense of the Bengals, we got quarterback Joe Burrow, running back Chase Brown, wide receivers Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Andre Osivias, with tight end Mike Gesicki. Left tackle will be Orlando Brown Jr., but if he cannot go, Cody Ford will take over. Cordell Volson will be the left guard, Alex Kappa the right guard, Ted Karras the center, and right tackle will be Amarius Mims. Now, when it comes to the Bengals, I'm a little iffy on their offensive line. I think they'll do a decent job, but not a very great one. Although, they do got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, so that's a little bit of a boost. And then we get on to Chase Brown, which is an okay running back. And then we move on, obviously, to Joe Burrow, who has not had a good season this year, but not terrible one either. Like, this isn't one of his worst years either. I just think that the Bengals have just been failing too much in the beginning of the year. But regardless of that, I think that the offense will do pretty decently. They won't be an amazing offense that will score 5 million points, but they would at least be doing a good job. Maybe 200 yards over for Joe Burrow. Like a little under 100 yards rushing for the running backs altogether. And Jamar Chase probably getting a touchdown or two, along with T. Higgins as well. But yeah, I'm saying that this is going to be a pretty good game for the Cincinnati Bengals on offense at the least. Now, moving on to the defense of the Cincinnati Bengals, starting out with defensive ends Sam Hubbard and Trey Hendrickson. But if Hendrickson cannot go, then Joseph Osai will take over. Defensive tackles, we got Sheldon Rankins and BJ Hill. But if neither of them can go, then McKinley Jackson and Chris Jenkins Jr. will take over for both of them. Then we get weak side linebacker Logan Wilson, inside linebacker Jermaine Pratt, strong side linebacker Akeem Davis Gaithier, and then we had Cam Taylor Britt at corner along with DJ Turner II. Mike Hilton will be the nickelback, Geno Stone the free safety, and strong safety Von Bell. Now, when it comes to the Bengals defense, obviously very massively injured in the defensive line, so I'm a little bit worried there. But otherwise, pretty good from the Cincinnati Bengals. Like, maybe they'll give up a few points, obviously. Like, honestly, losing Hendrickson, Rankins, and BJ Hill would suck massively for the Cincinnati Bengals. But regardless of that, I think they'll put up a good show. They're just not going to be the best defense on the field tonight. Now, in conclusion, I believe that the Cincinnati Bengals will indeed lose to the Los Angeles Chargers 24-20. It's going to be a very close game. Both teams' defenses are just going to be almost non-existent. But honestly, the Chargers' offense is a lot better than the Bengals' offense, so I'm going to give the win to them. I think that they're going to be making some big plays. And honestly, I'm going to see Justin Herbert throw about 2 to 1 touchdown in this game, while Gus Edwards gets a rushing touchdown on the day. But regardless of that, I think that the Chargers honestly will do better in the future. But for right now, they're taking the dub. Now, that was it for this video. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Who do you think will win and who do you think will lose? Tell me down in the comments below. Now, like this video if you liked it, subscribe, and hit the notification if you want more videos. And I'll see you guys next time.